Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Comic Shop Adventure. I'm the Athletic Geek, and I'm getting ready to venture out of the homestead at Athletic Geek HQ and go collect my bounty of comic books and collectibles for the week. But first, time to talk about what I enjoyed last week, and it was a great week for comics. First things first, Scott Snyder, Justice League. Wow, I was just so, the way the Snyder has managed to be able to tell, at least in this first issue, it could change, but in this first issue, tell a modern Justice League type of story, but be able to make it, like they're being ready to battle essentially the Legion of Doom, so it's still had the feeling like the old Super Friends cartoons because of just, the way the heroes and the villains were written. Yet, it was classic, somebody who hadn't been reading the Justice League, in a long time, or even somebody who just goes so far back as to only really watch the Super Friends cartoon, they could pick up this issue and they could recognize, they could get into it, and while it wasn't, quite as, toned down as that show was, it still had enough respect to that source material. That's kind of my whole thing. It's like a retelling of old Super Friends is kind of what I thought was, and it was done so well. The dialogue between the members of the Justice League was really, really well done. Scott Snyder is probably the best comic writer of this generation, and the proof is in all his work, and it's going to continue to be proven with his run on Justice League. I believe that could change, but hopefully it keeps up. Batman last week also very, very well done. Just the whole story, or the whole issue, I should say, was just pretty much, it was like a fight between Batman and the Joker, but it was really just, all the dialogue was just like narration from the Joker. Like, there was no, dialogue between the two characters, or from any other character other than Joker. So I thought that was kind of cool, and kind of a nice way of telling a story. Green Lanterns, you're finding out what the story with Jessica Cruz apparently had broke some kind of rules within the Lantern Corps, and Hal Jordan is now after her. And it's very interesting. It's I can't give too much without spoiling it, but you kind of realize how much the Simon and Jessica, what their kind of their relationship is like, as friends and as partners, and then that book's always been very, very well done, so gotta recognize that. And then Deadpool #1 by Scotty Young. Definitely going to keep reading Deadpool. I was worried that without Dugan writing Deadpool, it would falter. And oh no, it was issue 1 was very, very good. So that is it for the books last week. It is now time for me to venture off on my comic shop adventure. I'll see you back at the homestead. Hey everyone, I am finally back here at the homestead, back at Athletic Geek HQ, and it is time to go over this week's bounty from the Comic Shop Adventures, and we're going to start in the world of Marvel with Thor #1, written by Jason Aaron. I have never had a Thor book on my pull list ever in my life. I have some Thor trade paperbacks, and I was able to read some of the old Stan Lee, Jack Kirby Thor. I have in trade paperback form, and then I read a little bit of the Jason Aaron's run on Thor whenever Jane Foster was Thor in trade form or digitally, which I really don't like doing digital, but that's where I read those particular stories. This is the first time ever I've decided to buy a single issue of Thor at a comic shop, and that's because I think Jason Aaron is a fantastic writer. He's one of the best writers at Marvel right now. And I'm interested to see how this goes. I may enjoy it and make it a permanent fixture on the pull list. Maybe not even because of bad writing, but just because Thor's never really been one of my top favorites. He's always been cool, but never one of my top favorites. Maybe the book won't be for me, but I'm excited to check this book out. So Thor #1 by Jason Aaron is the first book on the list for today. And then we go into Old Man Logan, number 41. this book is up and down, hot and cold, but I really felt in the last couple issues that this book has turned a corner. And, I mean, you got Old Man Logan getting ready to fight Kraven the Hunter. So, I mean, like, what more could you want? Like, that's like a story that seemed very, very easy to do, even though Kraven is a Spider-Man villain. It seemed easy to do from the start, but, here we go now. It's they're putting him with Logan, and we're going to see what happens. So this book's really stepped it up, and I'm curious to see where it goes from there. And that concludes the Marvel portion of this week's Bounty, but we still have some DC to go, and we're going to start with Batman Prelude to the Wedding, Part 3. Batgirl versus the Riddler. The Riddler, to me, is probably behind only the Joker, my favorite Batman villain. And yeah, these have been pretty good so far. I didn't talk much about it on the way over there, but the Nightwing Hush was a good book, and I'm interested to see where this story goes. And I like Batgirl, I like the Riddler. Hey, see how it goes. Yeah, so pretty much it for that one. And then staying in the world of Batman, we have Detective Comics number 982. New writing team on Detective. You've heard me in the previous weeks, sing the praises of Detective Comics, and we got a new writing team there, so I'm a little cautiously optimistic about it. I'm not like here thinking it's going to be bad just because it's not the previous team. But, when you kind of come off of something that was that good, you always kind of have that reservation of, oh, well, is this going to live up to it? Well, is this going to be worth it? Similar to like when Snyder stopped writing Batman and King took over, some people didn't like the change. Some people thought that Snyder had too big of shoes to fill. I personally have enjoyed the run, but yeah, I feel the same way about Detective Comics right now, and we're going to see how it goes, I hope it's good. I hope it continues to be part of my pull list, but we will see. Venturing into the rest of the DC world, we have Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps, number 46, and it's just been a fun little book. It's going to be very Guy Gardner-centric book. But I think it's a really cool cover. This, Hal Jordan's separate story has not been, and I say this with Hal being my favorite Lantern, has not been as good as the Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz Green Lanterns book. Not necessarily because Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps has been a bad book, but just because that one has been so good. It's kind of like, This is very much so the silver medal of the Green Lantern family right now, but it's not a bad book. It's been okay to good consistently. Bring up my baseball metaphor. It's averaging at least one hit a game. So I mean it's pretty good. A lot better than a lot of other books out there right now. Yeah, it's just I feel like because the other book in the Green Lantern family is so good that this one just kind of falls by the wayside more when it is not a bad book, if that makes sense to y'all. So I'm interested to see how the storyline keeps going, and we'll see if it can kind of come close to the high standards that the Jessica Cruz Simon Baz book has made for it. Then we have Flash, number 48, Flash War Part 2. You've heard me say everything. This book is a fantastic book that does not get the credit it deserves. It always seems to fly under the radar. If there's, for the people that watch this show, there's one thing that my comic book videos can do. If it can get enough of more people to check out the Flash book right now and realize how great of a book that is, then I'm happy. If it can just get a few more people to realize that this is one of the best books at DC right now, then these videos are successful, in my opinion. And I know not a whole lot of people see them, but if just one person, one or two people can go, hey, let me check out the Flash comic books, see if this guy talking about them is correct, then yeah, these videos have done a service, because this is been such a great book since the beginning of the Rebirth. I talk about it till I'm blue in the face. Yet when you hear people talk about the great books, you don't see it come up a lot, and it just irks me, because it's so good, and especially with the way they're incorporating the pre-Flashpoint Wally in the Flash War. Yeah, it's a great book, and if you're a fan, if you're a fan of the CW Flash, go check it out. If you're a fan of the Flash character, be it Barry, Wally, or any, go check it out. You owe it to yourself to check out this book. All right, we also have the Titans special. I've always really enjoyed the Titans books. They've been hit and miss, but I decided to pick this one up because, it's the Titans. There's, Nightwing's one of my favorites. He's featured front and center, and it was $4.99, so it's a little $5 more expensive than a normal comic, but hopefully this was worth it. And then finally, the final book on the pull list, the final bit of the bounty, if you will, is The Man of Steel, #3 by Brian Michael Bendis. Last week got a little better. It's been better, in the books themselves than the preview that was in Action 1000. Like I said, Bendis is kind of hit and miss to me, and we'll just see how the miniseries goes and how the subsequent action and Superman ongoing goes from there. I'm not gonna hype this up too much. I'm gonna say it's worth checking out if you're a Superman fan. If you enjoy Bendis' writing, it's worth checking out, but I'm not going to sing the praises too high because I still don't know what's going to happen with it. And with all due respect to Brian Michael Bendis, there's been times that his book has been just so great. Like, I've been like, wow, I'm reading greatness right now. And there's been some times where it's just petered off. And, when he writes, like, when he's on and writes something good, it's phenomenal. And then when he misses, to me, it's just like such a disappointment. And, he's a better writer than I'd be. I mean, I couldn't write. I'm just a guy talking to a camera. But it's just, I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll just put it that way. I hope he does good. I hope that him taking this leap into DC is a good thing for him and his writing. But that remains to be seen. That is it for me and my comic shop adventure this week. Let me know everything that you guys picked up from your local comic shop in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, please give me a like, a subscribe, share the video. And if you'd like to see more content, please like the Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89. Lots more than just comics on that page. There's wrestling, there's anime, there's gaming, there's a little bit of everything from geek culture. But on that note, I am out. Have a good one.